Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over how to properly foot strike, and we'll start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals.
You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video.
Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become.
All right, so this is a really important concept to understand the foot strike. We talked a lot about it in a wide variety of different videos of the foot strike, ground contact, foot contact, how to be able to use the foot. These types of things are critical when it comes to running faster. And I was having a conversation the other day. Somebody asked me, what would you do to help somebody improve their speed? What would be the first thing that you would do, whether you're a sprinter, runner, whatever the case may be? And I said that I would help them improve their foot contact. I would help them understand how to utilize their feet better, and that's what we're going to go into today. If you like the information, click that thumbs up down below, subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this. We help athletes out in understanding how to perform at a higher level, also do running breakdowns, throwing breakdowns, things like that. With further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hop into the video here. And so this on the left, I really recommend, I'm going to put the link into the description, but I really recommend you checking out this video if you want to learn a little bit more about running mechanics, sprinting mechanics, if you're a running coach or a sprinting coach, because it goes in detail into the foot, talks about the difference between closed chain and open chain, and how the foot's going to react when the foot is on the ground compared to off the ground. This little part of it here is going to be talking about the open chain and the freedom that the calcaneal joint has, and that ends up really being the difference is, and the importance of the foot strike is that freedom of the calcaneal bone, right? That heel bone. So when your heel or when your foot's on the ground, obviously closed chain, we don't have that same type of freedom. But when our foot is off the ground in an open chain position, our heel has a lot of freedom to be able to move in a wide variety of different places. And so now what we want to be able to understand, right, going side to side, things like that. And then once this foot hits the ground, the front part of the foot hits the ground, that limits now the ability for the heel to really be able to move in that side to side motion, and requires more of like a rotational motion within the heel. Okay, so that's why it's important for us to be able to one, strike on the front part of the foot and not onto the heel. Right? There's a lot of things about how to improve the heel strike, how to fix the heel strike, because it's really, when you hit on the heel, you take away a lot of the critical things that are necessary when it comes to absorbing. Okay, but what we do want to be able to understand is that we want to be landing more on the front inside edge of the foot, and this is a drill that I always start out with all the teams that I work with, the athletes that I work with, just like a straight leg run. It's part of the warm up. Obviously, I just don't have people come in and just have them do the straight leg run and be that's the only part of the warm up. There's a wide variety of exercises that we go through, but this is one of them. And on top of it, we do the straight leg run with the right leg cycle, left leg cycle, just to continue to groove in, utilizing the foot and where we want to be landing on the foot. And so what's important about this here is, as this foot hits the ground, what we want to be able to do is, again, land on that inside edge of the foot and really be in a slightly pronated position, which means that the foot is a little bit more, this would be dorsiflex, right? We want to be in not supinated, but more pronated, which would have this arch a little bit more downward during that foot contact, right? So we're slightly pronated, and the big toe inside part of the foot is going to be hitting the ground. I don't really, this is obviously talking about just the actions of the foot in general, so it's not really talking about the running. So I'm trying to work with it the best that I can. So I don't know exactly what movements are going to be happening here, but point is, again, we're going to be wanting to have more pronation, which is going to be this first kind of or the inside part of the foot a little bit more downward. So then when the foot hits, we want to be able to allow there to be a upward movement here, or a supination action within the arch, and almost like an inward action within the calcaneal bone. So essentially we're going from a pronated position, the calcaneal bone's more out, this part of the foot is more in, and then when we hit, how we absorb is we want to go into a supination, or as much of a neutral position as possible, and then while that's happening, that heel is going to be coming slightly inside, and then from there we want to be able to come all the way up and forward, right? So we're going to come inside, and I know I can't really show this up, but it's going to be upwards with that calcaneal foot bone to make it so now we can transition all of our weight forward. When we land on the heel, what happens is now we have all of our weight back, right? And now when all of our weight is back here, okay, the top sprinters, right, in order to run the elite times, right, sub 0.1 or sub 1 seconds into 10, right, to have a 0.45 cycle from foot contact to, you know, from right foot, when the right foot hits the ground to when it cycles back and hits the ground again, we have to be very efficient with the time spent on the ground. We want to be under 0.1 seconds is really what the goal is that I talk a lot about. You know, 0.08 is what a lot of elite level sprinters are able to achieve. In order to do that, we can't have any wasted time. The more we land back on our foot, right, now the more it's going to take our foot to be able to stabilize side to side here, okay, which is going to take hundreds of seconds, right? Even additional thousands of seconds end up making a big difference when it comes to running, and especially when we have these habits over and over again. So what we want to be able to see, like we said, is we want to be able to absorb here, okay, and have the foot go into slight amounts of supination and the heel go into a little bit more of like an inward movement to create external rotation in the hip. That's going to be absorbing after foot contact. When we're going into foot contact, right? So right before, we want to have our foot in or our leg in maybe more, a little bit more of a neutral to internally rotated position, pronation of the foot, and then as the foot hits, then we're going to go in and switch into that. And so then we could, as quickly as possible, transition our weight forward. The more that we land with our foot back or our weight back or our weight onto the outside, now we're putting ourselves more at risk for spending additional time on the ground that is not necessary, that is not needed, and it's going to make it so now our foot contact is going to be longer, right? And potentially it makes it so now when the foot actually toes off, we're going to be toeing off in a position that's going to make the foot come back behind, right? Or it's going to be too late, okay? So then we're not going to be able to get our knee through effectively, right? When we start to really slow all this stuff down, right? This is what I'm doing all the time, looking at people running, right? You see that these small little things, right? You don't think that they're that important until you really see it, and you really see it at a novice level, right? You see younger athletes that really don't have any idea what they're doing with their foot, right? Any idea what they're doing with their ankle, and you see how some of these poor foot mechanics make such a huge impact when it comes to running speed. And then when you just show a small thing like this, a small adjustment within your foot, within your ankle, a better understanding of the timing and the synchronization and how to utilize a lot of times the balance and stability and body control that you already have. You're just not utilizing it to its full potential because you just simply do not know how or do not fully understand and grasp the information. It doesn't have anything to do with you. For a lot of you guys that are, you know, doing this part-time, right, that are doing this in a level where it's like you want to improve, but you also have school, you also have family, you also have, you know, practice, you also have all the other things. Like, you know, this is what I do all the time, right? This is what I spend my days doing, is helping athletes improve their sprinting from all over the world. You send me in your videos, I look at it, I give you an in-detail look at what is it that you're missing. Is it strength? Is it balance? Is it body control? Is it foot position? Which foot? When? You know, is it the start? Is it the top end speed? Is it the drive? Is it, you know, when you're in your left leg? Is it your right leg? Is it the toe off? Is it the foot contact? There's so many different dynamics and also reasons why. Is it because of lack of ankle control, lack of hip range of motion, lack of spine, arms, right? What is a thing? Is it a multitude of different things, okay? Again, this is what I'm doing all the time. It's something I'm very passionate about, obviously. If you're still watching this video, again, like it, subscribe, you know, check out some of the other videos that I have.